panelist Sarah and friends. A very good morning to all of you. I extend a very warm welcome to you, and so there are just four, and I just, when we were preparing, we were just thinking that there are going to be four different types of audience. One is students who wish to go abroad, students in India who wish to go abroad and finding it difficult to pay the heavy fees and looking for some alternative in India. And if for such students, what we can do. That's one point. Another point is we have school counselors and principals here, and we want them to understand about VAT and other. There are universities in India who are maintaining standards here equivalent to foreign universities, and maybe they can possibly recommend these colleges to the students. And we have colleges and universities in India wondering now what we will be doing if foreign universities are given a green chip to come and establish the campus here. We'll be able to cope up with the foreign universities and so on and so forth. And foreign universities to know about universities in India, especially the VAT and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll just take about 25 to 30 minutes to quickly go through some of the points that we have jotted down, and then Sarah will have her say from US perspective, and then we'll have some discussions on the points what we have projected. And when I stand here, first of all, I should establish my credibility and my suitability to talk about this. I'm from VAT. VAT is a #1 university, private university in India, as ranked by Government of India, MHRD. And we have 35,000 students, and we have two campuses, one in Vellore, in south, and the other one is in Chennai. And we have about 600 foreign students on our rolls from 52 different countries, and we have MOUs, about 208 MOUs, and through which we send as many as 200 to 250 students every year to go abroad to one of the partner universities and do their SAP program. And as I said, there are various universities from various parts of the globe. And so with this credential, I'm just standing before you. I'm sure that whatever I say are based on our experience with foreign students coming and joining us and studying, and the lessons what we have learned from this experience. As I told you, we have objectives in VAT itself. We have objectives. We have 3 objectives I have highlighted here. To find a substitution. That's how the founder, Chancellor, started the institute. He found many students from India going abroad. Right now it is about 3 lakh students every year. They migrate to outside India, and they spend about $10 million a year on fees alone. And so it's a huge amount of money as far as India is concerned. So we're just wondering whether can we have campuses in India which will make the student think twice before going outside. I'm not talking about any particular university, but any university abroad. And we wanted to create a university which will be on par with any other university abroad. So that's one of the objectives of internationalization. And we want to go for a world ranking. And we've been ranked #1 by many players in India. The last one was the first time in India, the Government of India ranked the universities, and among the private engineering institutions, VAT has been ranked as #1. And now we have got into the world ranking arena, and we have applied for QS ranking, and we've got some ranking also. We'll be telling about it quickly later on. And so we want to move further, then it is internationalization is a must, whether it is QS ranking or T3 ranking. If the internationalization is not there, then we're not going to get anywhere near that. And so that was another reason why we have to go for internationalization. And anytime India may, as I told earlier, can give a green chip to foreign universities to come and establish their campuses here. I think it is coming, and when it comes, the universities in India should be there to face the competition fairly, and for that again, internationalization is a must. And so these 3 objectives, we just went on to do whatever is needed, and we did some study, and we found out, based on our experience, that these are the 5 critical factors which will term or make the institute truly an international institute. which will attract the students from abroad to come in and then study. So that's our aim. And our idea is to increase this strength of 600 plus now to 1,000 plus in the next 2 years. With that objective, we are moving ahead. And so these are the things. One is the credibility and the validity of the degree. It's very, very important. I may say that I'm doing good and my degree is it's an excellent degree, and then quality of academics is good and so on and so forth. But will that alone be enough? That's what we're going to see, what we did and all that. The second point is about the curriculum. Well, the curriculum that what we have is suitable for 2020 workplace. And are we taking into account the fact that the students coming into our colleges are generation Y? Maybe for professors, participants from abroad, Gen Y term may not be something new. You know about it, you know about the millennials, and then you are talking about it. But in the Indian context, it's not catching up, and maybe people are still, talking about having a generic curriculum, and they are not focusing it on the specific type of students whom we have here. And so Gen Y are entirely different from Gen X, and then boomers. I think all of you know about it. I don't want to deal more about it because it will take a lot of time. But the curriculum should fit in well with the Gen Y expectations. So that's the second point. And for students coming from outside to India, then the ambience is also very, very important. The academic ambience and the living ambience, it's going to be entirely different there. And if we don't do something to match their expectations, then we're going to lose out in the game. And so what is that we have to do what we did? That also I'm going to tell you quickly. And the outcome, after doing this, what? Now will foreign universities, when they go back, will they take the credits and will they accept the credit transfer? Or if they look for placements, now is there a possibility for students who are coming here to get placed and all that? Again, I'm going to tell you something about it. And we have worked on all these things. And infrastructure I put here as last because most of the universities who call themselves as international universities, as far as infrastructure is concerned, we are doing well. Now that's not a big issue, and so maybe the first four are very important. So I just thought I'll take some time to deal with those 5 points. As far as the credibility and the validity of the degree is concerned, it's accreditation, ranking, and academic reputation that matters. And so at VIT, we have said that we will definitely go for accreditation. We have gone ahead with n number of accreditations. I'll be telling you about all those things quickly. See in the next slide, now you'll find the Indian accreditation, NBA accreditation, NAC accreditation, which is mandatory for deemed university, and we also went in for ISO 9002 certification, and the Institution of Engineers India accredited VIT, and a few companies like Accenture and Tata Consultancy, they're also accrediting universities, and we have been accredited. So this is all Indian context. And after finishing all these things, now we thought that we should go for international accreditation, and we went in for IET, the UK accreditation. We got that accreditation for as many as 13 programs, and we then went for the coveted Abbott accreditation from US, and 3 times our programs have been accredited. Maybe VIT is the only institution, university in India, which has gone ahead with 3 times continuous re-accreditation by Abbott USA. So this itself will prove to the world that the degrees, Abbott accreditation means that the degrees obtained from VIT will be accepted all over the globe wherever you go for masters. That's what it means. And the latest one is that NIRF ranking. The first time in India, the government of India has developed a framework, and they have ranked VIT as number 1. And so these credentials will prove to the world that at VIT the credibility is there, and the quality of academics is good, and the degrees are valid. So that is the first point which I thought I should tell. And also, if we have to attract foreign students to come inside, it is necessary that now we prove our credentials as far as research is concerned. And a few of the research accomplishments I have given here. This is another very important factor that universities in India, unfortunately, no one working in industry institution in India is sitting here. But however, it's very important, and we learned it. And the last 10 years, we are 32-year-old institution. The last 10 years, we have concentrated more on the research, and we found out that as the research improves, the teaching quality improves, and the students coming from abroad, they cherish whatever that happens in the institution. And these are some credentials how we are developing, and the Scopus Index journal is our benchmark, and then we keep improving year over year. And in the maybe a couple of weeks back, there was a news item in Hindu. I'm sure some of you must have seen that. As far as number of papers are concerned in Scopus Index journal, VIT is number 2 in India, next only to IISc Bangalore, beating even all the IITs. IISc is the only institution above us. And so what I'm saying is that we're doing very well in research, and that is one of the reasons we will say that the students from abroad, when they come, it makes it very comfortable for them. It's not only the research accomplishments, it's also the faculty members whom we have. And I just want to tell you that a few of our faculty members have been ranked as number 1 in India. Again, these rankings are from Government of India. Now, if some other private player does it, it doesn't have value here, because you'll find that when you go around India, so there will be so many colleges talking and universities talking about number 1. And so that doesn't value us. So what we have said is that we will depend on what the government says. And so according to the government, so these are the professors who have been ranked as number 1, number 3, number 5, and number 10 in India in their respective fields of research. And we have 5, I think one more has to be added, which his name is not there. So people who are recognized as a fellow of the Royal Society of India, Royal Society of London, and this is another accomplishment. What I'm saying is that the professors working here, now if they are good and if they have their accomplishments, then it will be attracting foreign students. So all our Indian universities should work on recruiting the best of the faculty members and maybe do more of research. The second thing what maybe the students when they come in from outside to India, what they look for is about the curriculum and the suitability for Gen Y, and also whether it is suitable for the 2020 marketplace and all that. And we have about 8 or 9 points. I'll just quickly go through that. What is very, very important is the flexibility what every foreign student looks for. And in Indian context, that's not there. Only in few IITs they have, again, I would say that it is partially flexible credit system, whereas in VIT, the last 5 years we have been following the FFCS. It's a fully flexible credit system, and like in abroad, we only offer courses. It's up to the students to take the course and register for the course and then study, and they can decide whether to study the course in a particular semester or to postpone it to the next semester depending upon the teacher and so on, and timing whether they want to have it in the morning or in the afternoons. Again, that flexibility is there. So ours is a fully flexible credit system which all our foreign students they cherish, and they are attracted by that. And we have since ours is a deemed university, we have the freedom to change the syllabi quite often. We do it every semester. Every semester we have Board of Studies meeting and the Academic Council meeting, we keep changing it. And the curriculum, once in 4 years we change. So this opportunity is not there for the government institutions. Many times we find that even for 10 years, 15 years, the curriculum is not changed, so it's all outdated and so on. And so we do it, and that's very, very important. And to suit Generation Y, they have different characteristics, and their expectations are different, and their likes are different. And so what we have said is that these 3 points we have to include, and we have included it. And in the present curriculum, what we are following has got all these 3 points, namely the project-based learning. Now we have introduced projects in 80 to 85, 75 to 80% of the courses, wherever possible. So students learn by doing. It's not just by lecturing alone, listening to the lecture alone. That will be there, of course, but there will be project-based learning. And we have said that even languages will be taught in the labs and through projects. English language teaching, or we are offering about 10 different languages: English, Spanish, French, and German, Japanese, Arabic, and Russian. Yeah, so 10 different languages we are offering, and the students have the option to choose 1 or 2 languages, but 1 language is mandatory for all the students who have joined VIT, and so they go out with proficiency in English as well as one another language. And so it's all taught in labs and through projects. And we found out that students learn better when they are outside the classroom, not under the control of the teacher. So we have started conducting events, organizing events like hackathon, codathon, napathon, and so on and so forth. And we have said that if somebody is contributing there, learning is taking place, then the teacher can assess it and then include it in the curriculum. So this makes more and more number of students taking part in the event and then gaining credits. So this is another major difference that we are making here. And maybe if you just check with other professors from Indian colleges, universities, you'll find that all these things are not there. We are doing it because we know that that's the way we need to attract, that's the way we can attract foreign students to come in and study. And then we know that outside in the Western world has become already digital, whereas in India we are lagging behind. I would say that even about 10 to 15 years as far as digitization is concerned, but at VIT we have decided to go for a fully digital university, and our target is in another 3 years will be fully digital. And right now the business school is fully digitized and so on and so forth. Even writing the examination, they write it in digital pad. Again, this will be another improvisation even compared to Western universities. I understand that there in West also students still write their exams in paper only, but we have tried this and we are working on becoming fully digital in another 3 years time. And all our syllabi, the curriculum, everything is benchmarked with good universities, best of the universities in the world, like MIT and Stanford. We visit them, we talk to the professors there, get to know about their mode of operations and so on, and then come back here and then try to implement it. This is the country's exercise that's going on, and so our curriculum is on par with foreign universities, I would say. And we have also changed the mode, and so we have called it as curriculum for applied learning. And so they're not going to just study the concepts alone or theory alone. Everything will be attached with application, what you do in industry and so on. And so we have said that we are not going to use the term LTPC, which is all over the world it's a convention, lecture hours, tutorial hours, practical hours and credits. But we have incorporated J component there. Only in VIT we have done that. And so that means every teacher who is taking subject, if it has got a J component, they have to go for project-based mode. Now that's the way we integrate project-based learning into the campus, and that's what we have done. And all our experiments, conventional experiments, were changed and made it really challenging, meaning that every individual student is made to think when they come to the lab for experiments and so on, and use their creativity and things like that, meaning that if the result is again not a tangible one, it's not a working model, it's not a correct result as per the teacher's consent, still the student can get 100 out of 100 because they are introducing the creative component into it. It may become successful, it may become success, or it may fail also. But even if it fails, since they have introduced the creative component into it and then tried it out, if the learning is taking place, then we get even 100 out of 100. So that's how the students are challenged, and the creativity thinking is encouraged and so on. And we only ask higher order thinking skills in the question paper, no testing of the knowledge or the comprehension skills. We have done away with that, and again, this is to improve the quality of the output. Mathematics we teach in labs. Tell me how many other institutions, leave alone in India, in the globe, mathematics is taught in labs. We are doing it, and we have found out a methodology. We use tools like MATLAB and so on and so forth. So that means even in the first year, when they go to the first class in math, and they go to the lab and then use the MATLAB, so they have to talk about engineering applications. So mathematics and engineering are connected from day one through these labs, and that's another difference. We have defined student learning objectives, and I'll be talking about it later. And we have mapped all the 20 student learning objectives. People talk about 8, 10 and so on, but we have looked into what is needed for 2020 workplace, and then we have incorporated 10 more student learning objectives. We have mapped it with the syllabus content. So I would say that the syllabus that's been followed at VIT has makes people job ready for 2020 workplace. And we have said that the 8th module in every subject will be taught by an industry. That means every teacher
has to have contact with the industry. They have to bring the industry person and then deal with the students for at least 2 hours to 4 hours. That's happening, and so in Indian context again, collaboration between institute and industry has been a dream, and it has not been successful at all. But when we introduced that, we have found out that teachers do not have any other go but to go and beg or request or cajole the industries to come, and then they come and do it. And we are doing a great job there. Students are happy that industry experts are coming and dealing with them, and so they get to know what's happening in the industry. And we have also introduced extra credits for students who are involving in research, UG level research. Earlier, now we talked about research for PhD, talked about research for PG, but we have found out that a few of our students are very bright, and so they are capable of doing research. We said you can do research and then produce papers in conference or journal. And last year, our experience is that 2 journal papers came out of first-year students. It's fresh from college, fresh from school, and they are done with the professors' work and then produce papers. Great things are happening, and when they do that, now we give them extra credits, extra marks, and so on and so forth. And a few courses like entrepreneurship, introduction to innovative projects, which makes them think originally on their own, and technical solutions for applied. I'm sorry, there is a spelling mistake there. Technical solutions applied to real life problems. They have to go out, stay with the community, take a problem that comes in the later stage in the 3rd year or in the 6th semester and so on. And so they have to solve the problem and project it to the committee. And so these are all the important changes were made and which will definitely add value to the students. So these are the 20 SLOs. I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm sure that this will be communicated to all of you. We can just go through that. Quickly, the next 3 points. The third one is ambience. Very, very important. Curriculum, definitely, if the top brass or the senior professors, they sit and then want to make a change in the curriculum, they can do it. But ambience involves creating a conducive ambience for the foreign students to come in and stay and be happy and then learn. Both the academic ambience and the living ambience. It involves all the stakeholders, all the students, all the faculty members, all the non-teaching staff there, and it's a very, very difficult task. And I would say that we are attempting, trying to perfect it. We are struggling. I don't want to say that everything is fine and all that, but it's there. And what we have done is that as far as academic ambience is concerned, we have converting everything into digital mode. Foreign students, they appreciate it. Flexibility, I already told you. Digital social media, many of our teachers, many of our teachers use even Facebook and other social media tools, social media as tools for academics. And the present day students are thrilled by that. Not only the foreign students, even our Indian students. These are all not happening in other universities. Now I am just projecting it so that other universities will get to learn all these things and then change themselves so that many more students can come to India and then study. Transparent evaluation with rubrics. Rubrics is that, again, invest. I know that it's a common term and all of you know about it. But in Indian context, still people have not mastered it, and we have tried it, and then we are following it. So the evaluation becomes highly objective. And we have digital LMS tools, learning management tools like Moodle, Drupal, Hot Potato. All the teachers use it, all the students use it. And we have 121 foreign university professors with foreign passport as adjunct professors at VIT. That means, whenever they get vacation, holidays, whenever it's possible, they'll come down, stay here in VIT for 10 to 15 days, teach a course, or at least 50% of the course, and then go back. And why I said foreign university professors with foreign passport is because for QS ranking, that's one of the mandatory requirements. Now, if you have Indians working abroad with Indian passport, if you call them as adjunct professors, they don't appreciate it. They don't take into account at all. So we are particular about it. We could catch hold of 121, and we are thankful to these professors who have agreed to help us out. And we have quality circle meetings frequently, and so that serves as a good feedback mechanism both from the teachers as well as the students. And some unique facilities, like snooker and indoor stadium and gym and all that. You may say that what's something new there. When you go to the universities in India, then you would find that these are all not there in other universities. That's the reason why I'm just saying this. So these are things which really are appreciated by the students who are coming from abroad. And as far as the living or academic ambience is concerned, customer delight is the key. See, what usually people do is that they talk about or think about the explicit needs of the foreign students coming in, find out what they want and what they like, and they do it. But in our experience, what we have found out that's not enough. That's not going to make them delighted or happy. So we have to go one step further and then go for the implicit needs of the students. And quickly, I'll just go through these implicit needs. What we have found out by interacting with the students, they don't like that hierarchical gap that we have in Indian context. It's a part of our system, but they don't like it. And so now we are creating a flat system in VIT, which will attract, which will be appreciated by the foreign students. And travel help like visa and other local travel and all that to be arranged. We have an excellent IR office with 9 professors. Ma'am, I'm talking about 19 professors. I was just wondering, I thought that even 9 is a big number in Indian context. We were happy about it. So compared to Florida, we are nothing, and so we need to improve on it. And respect for personal beliefs and cultural differences. These are all subtle elements. Even if one student, peer student, if he or she falters in it, then it hurts the foreign students coming in. And once one student is hurt, then it is contagious and passed on to not only students who are studying here, even for the future generation who can come. So very, very important. And walking an extra mile to make people comfortable. This we found out it's essential. And don't force anything on me. Indian context, we say do this, don't do that. And there it is not like that. They want all friendly movement and counseling and things like that. And do's and don'ts to be told to them upfront, not pointing fingers at them when they do a mistake or when they do something which is not a mistake. Do something which has brought them some problems and so on and so forth. And understand the system back in their own country. If I don't understand, if somebody has come from Brazil, if I don't know what's happening in Brazil, the culture and so on and so forth, I'll not be able to make a person happy. So these things they will not write down, but it is there in their mind, and so we need to do that. That is why I say these are all implicit needs we need to understand. And don't talk about the family. But in Indian context, maybe the third sentence, what I'll be interested in as a counselor is that, okay, find about your family and how are they and things like that. We think that, it will create a bondage here. Whereas, foreign professors, foreign students, when they come down, they don't like us to talk to them about the family at all. So this is a very great lesson that we have learned. And no compulsion on attires. We have a dress code in Indian context, and that too when you come down to the south we have dress code. But 12 years ago we learned a lesson by burning our fingers when some of the foreign students, the protest is saying that you have no right to comment on my dress, you are not the one who will decide what I will wear, we will decide. And so from then on, we have stopped, and you will find that even it is a newspaper item in some of the colleges in Indian context. So these are lessons that we got to learn. We have no right to comment on others' dress and things like that. We cannot think about dress code and all that when we want to internationalize and so on and so forth. These are all some of the very menial things, but matters a lot. We need to do about it. Time consciousness, okay, I don't have to talk about it. Red tapeism that's provided there. So these are some of the things what we have understood from them, and we are trying to correct ourselves and make our university the best destination for the students who are coming here. Quickly, another 2 minutes more I will take. The fourth point is about the outcome, the placement. Again, VIT is doing very well in placement in Indian context, I would say. Maybe the number one institution in India. You just see the number here, 7947. So that's the number of offers the companies have done, given to students in one slot. That means all the students of VIT are placed in the first instant itself. Now, 1 week time, all of them are employed. They are not the passed out students. They are in the final year. So that is our placement strategy. So all our students go out with one job, and that is happening in few other universities also. But what is different in VIT is that we have not just offers, one offer alone. We have dream offers. Those who have got the first offer, they can go to a dream offer companies which are paying 5 lakhs and above salary, and core companies and so on and so forth. And we have super dream offers, companies paying 10 lakhs of rupees. 10 lakhs in Indian context for a BTech students is a hell of a lot of money. And so we give them offer. So last year and all that, we have 190 plus students who have got the super dream offer, 10 lakhs and above. The top offer was given by one company, 27 lakhs. I want to tell you that I'm not earning 27 lakhs after 39 years of experience. But my student, before even passing out of the B.Tech, they are placed in a company with 27 lakhs of rupees salary. So that's the kind of placement what we have. And we also take extra steps to place all our foreign students, and we have tie-up with companies. We have a foreign placement office there in US and UK, and we have strong tie-up with Chinese companies, and most of the Chinese students, we give them offer. Whether they take it or not is a different issue. So this is another thing which will attract the students from abroad. In West, the placement being attempted by the company, the college is not there at all. So they got to be on their own. But we do it as an extra feature, and so that attracts. Last point is about the infrastructure. Again, it's nothing big there in that, but what I'm saying is that they're all also important. If you think that it's only the academics that is important, it's not the buildings, it's not the cleanliness, and it's not the space, it's not the other facilities, and so on and so forth. Wi-Fi connection across the campus. If it is there in the classroom alone, it's not enough. And so on and so forth. So these are all some of the things which we thought that every institute, university should take care of. If they are taking care of it, then I'm sure that all these things will happen. Foreign students will come, they are coming, and we are increasing the number year on year. And if a foreign university is coming to India, VIT will not suffer at all. I can definitely say we'll be able to compete with the foreign universities and still get students because of our quality as well as our competitive pricing and so on. And I'm sure that all the counselors who are here, you can recommend VIT for your students for higher studies, and foreign professors who are here can join with VIT on collaborative projects. Maybe it is a research, collaboration in research, or in student exchange. We have a SAP, one semester, every student can go abroad. They are going, as I told earlier, 200 plus students are going out every year. And so we want to be partnering with you. And also we can think about 2+2, which we have started last year. So students who join in the 2+2 program, they study 2 years here in VIT, paying the VIT fees, and they can go to some other university abroad of their destination. Purdue is a partner in that, RIT is our partner in that, and Curtin in Curtin and Deakin in Australia are partners. Like that, we have about 12 partners as of now to whom we are intending to send. They are in the first year now, so they will go only after the second year is over, and so on and so forth. And so that's it from me, and maybe I'll request Sarah to come in, and later on, if there are any questions, if there are any, we will definitely take it up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
FIU is a rather young institution. We're just coming up on 50 years, which for the US, a lot of the big public institutions are much older. We, however, are the fourth. Sorry. We're the fourth largest institution in the U.S. with more than 56,000 students. We're hoping to get to about 65,000. Now, you would imagine that having international in your name would mean that that has been a priority from the very beginning. That's not necessarily the case. And of course, we have some challenges as well. Now, of course, it's working on updates. Always fun.
It says 100% complete, so.
Yeah.
And then it'll install.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see, where are they going? So yeah, we're a young institution. Our population doesn't look like the rest of the U.S. So mostly you would see China, India, South Korea as our international population. Our population is mostly Latin and South America due to our location in South Florida. So we draw mostly from our local population, which does have to be very, very international. So about 100. Well, we're the top Hispanic serving institution in the U.S. So our demographics, what we look like, is very different. And we started out as a transfer institution. So we had about 5,000 as our opening class, which is one of the largest classes to ever launch a university. And those were all transfer students. So we maintain that history and continue with the number of transfer students we enroll every year. But then we also, of course, have a lot of part-time students as well. So there's a lot of challenges with affinity for our institution because we're dealing with a large city. There's a lot of other distractions to our students that don't like to keep them on campus, and then a part-time commuter campus as well. We do have on-campus facilities, but that's of course limited, so we deal with those things. So how we've gone about internationalization. So we've gone from a top-down approach. So recently they established the Office of Faculty and Global Affairs. So there's a VP in that office who helps collaborate across the university and do things like the International Working Group, which is a cross-section of all folks across the university that have anything to do with international. And it's a big group of people when you get us all together. They each year try to do what they call the GPS. So they try to pick out those things that are most important, our research activities, what the faculty are doing, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and then really trying to promote that cross-section so we're not quite as siloed. Because a lot of institutions forget about those things. And when I go out and recruit, that I can maybe lean on a faculty member or other experience in order to figure out new places to go. So we've done that. We also have an executive level, which is called the Global, I can't remember, of course, Global Committee, which is an executive level of the International Working Group to try to get us all organized. And that group also now includes the Office of English Language and the Office of Study Abroad and Global Learning, which was a part of our QEP, which is a reaccreditation process in the US, to have signifiers, designators to the curriculum. So when students take a course, they know that there are certain courses that will go towards a global requirement. And then, of course, the Office of International Student and Scholar Services. So all of those are under that one umbrella. I, however, am not. I'm under the Office of Enrollment Services. But in order to kind of bring all of those international pieces together, I serve on the International Working Group and work very closely with the Office of Faculty and Global Affairs. Maybe? Oh. Just my luck. It was a 2 seconds. So yeah, so even though I'm not a part of that international side, and I would really like to be a part of that, I'm actually better situated where I am under Enrollment Services. Because even though I work very closely with them, we can kind of think more about the numbers, more about how to create affinity, how to create retention, all of those kind of things that they don't always think about because they're thinking more student affairs side, a little more softer side of the house, and a bit more academic. So we try to mix the two. So now we've created my office, which is the Office of Graduate and International Admissions and Recruitment Services. So it's to align all of our admissions processes, international and also graduate, together. To take advantage of what our graduate admissions folks were doing, the expertise that they have in curriculum, and then also the peaks and valleys of the admissions cycle. So that way we can be more responsive to our students. And then when I go out to recruit, as I did before, just undergrad, now I can actually talk to Indian graduate students and then have a direct pathway into our programs as well. So I think maybe it's coming back, maybe? Okay. So we've done that as well to try to align all of the different international pieces. And as I mentioned, we're struggling with affinity because of being in Miami. We have a big private institution down the street, which has a longer history and a much better football team, which of course helps create that affinity for our students, for their students. We don't have that necessarily. So we're struggling a little bit with identity, and also because we're a young institution. So those kind of things keep us a little bit continuing to think about how we can engage students and keep them interested in staying, keep them talking about how great FIU is, and that's part of the internationalization, of course, is having them be successful and go out. Because many of them, as I mentioned, are international themselves, even though they are technically, for us, in-state, because their parents are located at a company in Miami, doing business, having gone to Florida high school. So it's still an international student, even if we don't. Hopefully, Doreen heard. Let's see, it comes back. All right, one moment. Hopefully I did pretty well on keeping all right, I mentioned the top-down approach. What I did forget to mention was the Office of Global Affairs. Even though they are charged with keeping us all together, we've started a new initiative, which is the Crossing Over to Connect. It's the first thing of its kind where we took a bunch of different folks from my side, from the administration side, but also from the faculty side, to come all to Berlin and talk about how great FIU is, but also connect back to our alumni and work on establishing relationships. So we've done that once. We've learned a lot as a result, of course, and we're hoping to replicate the success in India. I don't yet know where in India. We're looking for hosts, and to kind of take it to the next step. We have a lot of Indian graduate students. We have much fewer international undergraduate students. So we're hoping to then use that as a platform to launch and really make our presence known here in India. And then I mentioned my office, centralization of international recruitment activities. Of course, that doesn't account for the fact that our business school has its own program and has their own dual degree in their offices for global affairs as well. But because we are all on the international working group and we are close colleagues, we can at least align with what we're doing and where we're going. So that way, if she happens to be going abroad, I can send materials with her, same with our ELI. So we're really trying to do much better about efficiencies of our scale, efficiencies of the cost that we end up doing. And learning to let go of turf. That's the biggest problem. A lot of people are always concerned about, this is mine, and if I share my secret sauce with you, then you're going to have my secret sauce, and then what? But we're doing much better about letting go of the turf, finding our allies and partners, and really taking that message further. And long term, we really hope, as far as my office goes, the creation of the country-specific outreach. So very segmented approach to this with our messaging, the fact sheets, common grading scales, conversion to make it easy for international students so they understand what we're looking for from the admission side of the house, and outreach for also the parents, of course. And as I mentioned, our obstacles, the student affinity challenges, because of our being young and their school spirit is not quite there most of the time. Even though we have more graduates in Miami than the other institution, you'll still see them wearing that institution's branding. So we're struggling a little bit with that. As I mentioned, also on-campus housing is limited. It's beautiful, it's great, but we just don't have enough. Especially as we look to grow our international populations. And then our international student scholar services is more of compliance. We're trying to get them to do more as far as programming and advising, so that way we connect those students back and start thinking more of them, more about how they view us rather than kind of lumping them all in. It's a big institution, so sometimes students get lost. We don't want that to happen. And as I mentioned, the silos is always an issue, but we are doing much better. And then, of course, the academic units, I mentioned in a previous session, we're beginning to take more responsibility for the students that we enroll from the point of admission, because we are implementing performance-based funding at the academic level in order to help us better achieve our university goals. And the reason why, of course, is we need them just as much as they need us. And those silos get in the way where they're thinking more about research and their academics, but without the students, nothing, right? So kind of getting them to think more from our side and how we can be more collaborative in the enrollment of our students. And then, of course, making sure that they're successful, because that goes back to our metrics, 6-year graduation rates, and whether or not they have great paying jobs afterwards or gone on to master's degrees. Those things all affect our funding at the state level because we are public, we want to take that back down to the academic level. So then we start working together and we take responsibility for our institutional goals. I'm sorry for all of the technical issues, but we made it through. It came back. I think I got most of those points. So, any questions for us about what we do, why we do it? Certainly not. We don't have all the answers, but we're trying really hard to get where we think we need to be, and look at those benchmark institutions to see what else we can do. So, any questions for us? Otherwise, we have questions for you. Yeah.
I just wanted to know how many people works on the admissions procedure of huge institutions.
So yes, it's not as many as you think. So the graduate side, Sarah mentioned 19. We have 2 recruiters, an assistant director for recruitment, and that's just graduate and international. And then from there, about 15 folks that do the evaluation of all of the documents. So evaluation and also immigration. We are responsible for the F1 student issuance.
How many students one person deals with?
We break it down by academic unit. So we shuffle, it changes each year. We're now focusing more on STEM course and strategic areas of emphasis for our university. So we're going to probably see those programs expand, and we'll have to reshuffle the number of files that someone is reading. I don't have a good answer for that also because we are in transition. So now my folks are going to have to do international undergrad as well as grad. So they're a little nervous about that. But we manage. And then from the undergraduate side, we enroll a huge number of students each year. And we don't have as many as you would think. There's about 9 admissions counselors that are primarily just for domestic. And then a staff within our enrollment processing center that handles the rest. But we know our limitations as far as that goes, so we're looking at outsourcing a lot of what we do to an outside application organization where they would help us manage that. So that way we always have a problem like, where's my documents? I sent my documents, and we can see them, and they give us a call, and then we can't find the documents, and then we look dumb, we don't ever want that, or we ask them to send it again. So that's a huge challenge. We're trying to address that through this outside vendor for our application and trying to then streamline what we do in-house because someone else is managing that front line, send the documents, scan the documents, upload the documents, and then the portal is very user-friendly. So that way the students know that the documents were received. And it kind of takes them out of the way. We focus on better things, like actually getting them on campus. Other questions? I know you guys are like fantastic with internationalization of Michigan State. So
we could always be better. That's the sad thing when you see things like you're talking about the silos and the silos at Michigan State. I have no clue where all the working pieces are. Our graduate recruitment is done individually by all of our different colleges. So at any given point in time, the College of Business could be in India doing recruitment. I have no clue. Our professors could be in India doing research. I have no idea what they're doing. And so it's really interesting with a larger institution because sometimes you just never know, and it is so hard to get all of those efforts to be combined. I mean, you can't even imagine. And so it's great to have a large institution, but there are so many things that make it so much more difficult to do. And and I think we do. I mean, we still have a long way to go because ours exploded, and there's things we still don't. We still need to do work on. And so it's always a learning process every single year.
So while the organization progress, we have we've got a central working group that with representatives from all across campus. We're keeping track of what everybody's doing. It's really challenging. I've got like an informal group of just people who travel, and we'll get together quarterly just to sense like where are you going, right? And just to share information. I was in Delhi a couple years ago, and somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, like so and so from your university's here as well."
You're like, oh.
That's always embarrassing.
Yeah, the one thing that we've had, one thing I guess is we have, so I'm seeing your question, we do have a senior international office on our campus. So one of the best things that they did in the past few years is they came up with a comprehensive international plan. Very straightforward. It's got 4 pillars that we have, and it's got metrics under each of those pillars, which individual offices are responsible for. So the plan sort of covers the entire campus, but then, with my unit, I understand what my piece fits into the broader plan, and that's been very, very helpful. And then when we meet, if it's within the plan, we know something that we want to talk about and sort of comment on, and then it helps making the decisions on what not to do, right? Because you can always do more. There's always tons of demands, and there's so many different initiatives that you can be participating in. But it allows us to be able to say, this is what we focus energy and resources on, resources being time and money, and then also ones that say, that's not really the scope of what we're trying to do right now. We need to focus on these things.
And that international plan links back up to the full
Strategic
university.
framework.
Oh, okay.
So we have a strategic framework. Actually, the planning stuff that we've had the last 5 years is fantastic, and it's very it works really well, modular almost. And then the international plan is there's 4 drivers for the strategic framework. The international plan is one of those drivers, and then within the international plan there's 4 pillars. So it's very good. I can share that stuff if anybody wants to see it.
Yeah, we're struggling with now some of what we're trying to do internationally kind of conflicts with what we want to do as far as the metrics for the state university system. And so trying to balance those things is really hard, because here you hear from one side, and it is from top down. President Provost are very, very interested in international, but those metrics just quite don't align. It helps with our internationalization because it's things like patents and research and number of PhD production, those kind of things. But then how that connects back to specifically the international piece is a bit of a challenge for us. Well, I think we're over. But we started a little late, so anyway, there's a break right now. So thank you so much. You have our information down here if you have any questions or want to connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.